Welcome to Ukambani, the season of plenty and the place of blessings. So as you can see, this is a Pixie tree in an orange orchard with plenty of oranges, as you can see. And this is a good example of what we are doing in this place. So come with me. These plants are a few years old, maybe 4 or 5 years old. And what you can see is that they have different size fruits. So these are small fruits, these are season fruits, but we have some plants here that have off-season fruits, which means that these trees are fruiting at different times during the year. As you can see, these fruits, these are pixies, they're almost ready. But we have some that are still small, some plants still have flowers, and the journey continues. So every tree is different. You can tell this one is not carrying as much. Some others are very good, like in this case. This is doing very well. These fruits are probably 3-4 months old. In another in another 3 months, they'll be ready for the market. We have a few mango trees there. We have some other fruits that are coming up as well, pawpaws, and the entire area, as you can see, all the way around. It's all full of citrus trees. My name is Dr. Dixon Wambua, and I'm a research scientist here in the United States. I specialize on pesticides and their impact on human health from a public health standpoint. And by studying pesticides, we can understand the risks that are involved when they are used either in agriculture or in our homes. And this informs policies and regulations and procedures that we have for specific pesticides in order to improve human health. I am very passionate about citrus farming, and as a scientist, I've always wanted to understand how it is that we can use scientific methods to improve our propagation and yields. So today, I want to share my passion for citrus farming and what it is that we have been able to do back in my farm at Makueni. And I want to walk you through the process from the beginning. So from collecting the seeds to sowing them, to transplanting them, to taking care of the plants, to maturity, to harvesting. And so that you can better understand what it is that we are doing over there. So throughout the video, I want to be as detailed as can be possible. And so those newcomers, the people that want to try citrus farming, can have as much information as can be possible. I'm always happy to chat, so here is my contact and that of my farm manager. If you choose to reach out to me, please use WhatsApp. That is the best way to get to me. And of course, you can call my manager through a phone call.
Hello, I am Grace Milwaukee in Camp Creek, 2nd grade. I'm going to be the camera girl.
You know the way they say that you can remove a boy from the village, but you can never remove the village from the boy. So that defines me, and in as much as I've been here in the United States for quite a period of time, I always am fully connected with what is going on in the ground in Kenya, in my farm, and with other farmers in order to see how it is that we can assist each other. Atlanta is obviously a big city, so space is obviously limited compared to the village. But towards the end of this video, I want to share with you what we have been able to do as far as developing citrus is concerned in our backyard and the misfortunes or fortunes that we have had. So yeah, I hope you'll enjoy it. Sometimes when you live in the city, you have to get a little bit creative when you want to make space for fruit trees. So that's what's going on here. This is the little dusty town of Kalamba, and as my friend puts it, the home of the sweetest mangoes and Pixie mandarins. We are 1,200 meters above sea level, which makes it very ideal for citrus. All our citrus plants start as lemons. We call these lemon rootstocks. Choosing the right seeds is essential in citrus propagation. Optimal seed selection ensures that propagated plants inherit the desirable traits, which include disease resistance and fruit quality. We always have to make sure that the lemons that we are choosing are healthy and the plants that they're coming from are also healthy. We prefer to put our seed beds in protected areas where animals or direct elements of the weather cannot reach. So if you look at these, you see these seed beds, and these have been created out of a little bit of manure and a little bit of soil and a little bit of sand, so that the seeds can have an easy time to germinate. And we plant the seeds about half a centimeter below the level of the soil. As we wait for our seedlings to germinate, at this point we are thinking about how we are going to pot the plants, and we prefer to use leaf compost because of its quality and capability to retain water when mixed in the right proportions with soil. These women come from all the way up in the mountain and they bring the leaf foliage, and so we're picking it up from their homestead here. And then we drive through this place all the way to somewhere up in those mountain ranges where our nursery is. The rolling hills of Ukambani remind me of the topography of San Diego, California, which actually happens to be the birthplace of Pixie mandarins. Alright, so we're packing this car to the brim without potting soil. The roads here are pretty bad. You can see we got to be careful because we're carrying full load right here. But yeah, we are getting it going. So this is 2 months after we put our seeds into the ground, and they have germinated and they are ready for potting. So we take the leaf foliage and we mix it half and half with soil and a little bit of manure and pot the plants. We got about 10,000 pieces here. The other seed bed has around 30,000 pieces, so, and we always continuously growing. This is a slightly older lot that is getting ready to be planted. You can tell it's about half a foot long. Is a very good size to transplant into the ground. So if you need seedlings, we got them. Quality seedlings, not just any seedlings. A common question I get is how many plants can I fit in 1 acre? And if you space your plants 4 meters between rows and 4 meters between columns, you can easily fit 225 plants in 1 acre. I see people fitting 300, and that's possible, but based on what I see after 5-6 years, then the farm gets a little bit too congested. And then you have to plant your rows and columns in a zigzag fashion as shown in this figure. And when you're digging, the holes, they have to be a minimum of 2 by 2 by 2 feet. I didn't have a good video of grafting from my farm in Ukambani But we recently did a job for a client in Bungoma, and I'm going to take you there. Creating these pens around the tree are important because they're what we use for manuring the plant as well as water retention when it rains or if you decide to irrigate. You can see this is one of the lemon stalk trees, lemon stalk plants for one of our clients. And what you can tell is that this plant is not very healthy. You can see that those yellow leaves at the top, they look like they don't have enough chlorophyll. The plant has not been pruned for a couple months. This was planted about 4 or 5 months ago, but it's not been taken care of really well. So what we're doing now is pruning and taking out all those extra branches. And then what we're going to do is to bud it with a Pixie mandarin so that in a few years we can get fruits from it. So what Mr. Nduli is doing is just trying to reduce those branches as much as can be possible before budding. And that will enable the plant to feed the bud and just a few or just one extra branch that is still on the lemon tree. What that will do is that it will allow that grafted Pixie mandarin branch to grow as fast as can be possible and to maximize the amount of food that the plant is giving it. And what we have in that small bag on the side are the Pixie mandarin grafts. So we came with these ones from Ukambani, and what we're going to do is to get the grafts from this, and then we can graft the tree, and I'll show you how that will happen in a few minutes. All right, so this is the grafting process. Let me come a little bit nearer so that you can see. There are many different ways of grafting, but over the years we have perfected the skill of doing this, and what we are using is the method that is well tested and tried and is successful. What it's doing right there is removing that scion so that you can go ahead and put it as the graft. So the thing is, with this client, we definitely want to make sure that we get the highest amount of success for not just the grafting, but we are thinking about years from today when she is going to be getting yields from these trees. So basically what we have done is that we've gone to our farm back in Makueni, and we have pre-selected trees that are bearing the most amount of fruit. So for example, in this case, we're getting these buds from a tree that was bearing about 100 kilograms per season, and that was last year. So what we are hoping is that we are going to be able to replicate the same kind of thing here, but in 4 years, we are sure that we can replicate that 100 kilograms of Pixie mandarins on this tree. So as you can tell, he has already gotten that scion in, and now what he's going to do is to make sure that he can waterproof it by using that little polythene strip that he has there. And then in a few weeks it's going to be uncovered, and what you realize is that the scion will be now part of that plant. So you got to protect it from the heat, you have to protect it from the weather in general, you have to protect it from rain, especially in this part of Bungoma. It is extremely rainy, so we want to make sure that it is well protected from that rain so that it doesn't end up rotting or growing mold just because we got too much moisture into it. We have left that branch still intact at the top. So once that is done and our graft and scion is growing, we will go ahead and chop these off. And then once we chop that off, that will give the, of course we'll have uncovered this graft, and then we chop that off and that will now start shooting as a graft. What we need to be careful with is make sure that if we get any suckers here, we keep removing them. We want the maximum amount of auxins or plant hormones going into the scion to make sure that it keeps growing. Our client here in Tonkarin in Bungoma County has 172 citrus plants. 130 of those she bought from us when they were already grafted as Pixie oranges, or Pixie mandarins for that matter. But she also purchased 42 rootstocks, which are basically lemons. And today we've grafted those 42 after a year or so since she put them in the ground. We'll be back in 2 or 3 years and you'll be surprised at what you can see. We do support these kind of operations. So like our client here is back in the US. She does farming and just distance farming, I guess that's what we call it. But we come out every now and then to support her and make sure that the plants are getting the kind of nutrition that they need, they're getting the kind of pesticides that they require, and they're well taken care of. So thank you very much. Our job is done and we are now heading out. See you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to my farm after the quick trip in Bungoma, and this is why we use mature grafts when we're grafting these young trees, because you can see this is 2 years and the plants are already flowering. After 2 years, because we had very special selection of the grafts that we used, at this point you have to keep thinking about, okay, how am I manuring the plants? Is my farm clean? Am I using the correct pesticides to prevent diseases? Those are the most critical things at this stage. This is a very good example of forced flowering. So this is October in Makueni. The last rains that we saw in this area was sometimes in March, so more than 6 months ago. But you can see this plant is already flowering. This is a 2-year-old Pixie mandarin, and it's just been forced to flower. So we have specific schedules that we use for watering and pesticides in order to force it to flower. And what happens is that after this, we get off-season fruits that tend to be priced really well. At this point, you're right in the money, and so the things that you have to keep thinking about again is the pesticides that you're using to prevent diseases, manuring maybe every other year, making sure that your farm is clean, and of course harvesting and watering if that is needed. There are several main challenges that you're going to face if you're a citrus farmer, and the biggest one is going to be diseases. So these may be different depending on which region of the country you are in, so it is important to check with your agronomist if you have one. And then the other one obviously is water, especially if you're in a dry area like Ukambani, like we are. And then of course there is the underlying problem that we have almost everywhere in the country, which is infrastructure. A really poor road network, and that is always a challenge when you're transporting produce. The biggest thing actually for us, I would say, is market fluctuation and the fact that the brokers try to undercut us all the time, and that's something obviously that we can find a solution to. The cost for planting an acre is going to run you anywhere between 40 and 60,000 Kenya shillings. That depends obviously on the status of your farm, whether it's ready or not ready for planting. And then the other major question that I get is, okay, so what are the yields and what do I expect from my farm. And I can tell you for sure that from year 1, year 2, year 3, there isn't much that you're getting from there. But from year 4 and onwards, you are assured of getting good yields if you've been taking care of your farm. I've seen anywhere from 1 million to 2 million shillings per season. That is at farm gate prices of 80 shillings. But this again is going to vary. Nobody's going to be able to guarantee you anything. It's up to you and how you manage your farm. Nilikuahidi kwamba nitakurudisha Atlanta ujionee kile ambacho tunafanya hapa. Shughuli za kawaida kila siku, kuamka kwenda kazini, kwenda kufanya tofauti kwa maisha ya wengine. Lakini jioni na weekendi kuna vitu nyingi ambavyo vinani keep busy. Mojawapo ya hizo ni kukuza chakula chetu sisi wenyewe ambacho tunaweza. Hasa mboga, manake si wakati wote ambapo utaenda kwa store uende upate chakula ambacho ni kisafi. Kwa mtu mwenye anafanya kazi na pesticides kama mimi, najua kwamba mara nyingi utaenda huko upate chakula ambacho kimekuwa sprayed with a lot of pesticides. Ndiposa tunaona ni vizuri sisi wenyewe tujikuzie chakula chetu ambacho tunajua kwamba ni kisafi. Okay. Tunajaribu pia sana kuhamasisha watoto wetu, kuwaonyesha umuhimu wa kukuza chakula chao wao wenyewe. Manake wakianza wakiwa wadogo namna hii, labda baadaye wataona ile haja ya kufanya chenye tunafanya pia. Mimea mingi huwa inafanya vizuri sana hapa, na tunaweza kuuza chakula kutoka mwezi wa 3 mpaka hadi mwezi wa 10 hivi. Manake mwezi wa 10 ukishafika basi nao baridi ndio hiyo imeingia, inakuwa nyingi sana na vyakula vingine kama mboga haviwezi vikawa nje. Lakini kitu kama sukuma wiki ama kitunguu huwa kinafanya hata kama baridi iko nyingi sana pia. Mara nyingi mahali kama hapa mjini ambapo pamejengwa, unajua pamechimbuliwa mara kadhaa, alafu rotuba ya mchanga yenyewe si nzuri sana. Kwa hivyo huwa tunafanya composting kila wakati, chakula kutoka kwa jikoni. Tukipata hayo mabaki tuna compost, tunaitumia kama mbolea. Saa zingine kama haitoshi basi tunaenda tunatafuta fertilizer kidogo, tunamwagilia. Lakini ukiangalia unaona mimea inaendelea vizuri sana, hata saa zingine bila mbolea pia huwa inafanya vizuri. Huu msimu ambao ulipita tulijaribu tukapanda mahindi ya katumani, but kitu chenye kilinishangaza zaidi ni kwamba ule urefu wa mahindi ulikuwa mkubwa sana hadi nikashindwa, na hii katumani, mbegu ya katumani ni fupi kwa sababu tulipanda kule Ukambani ama kuna sababu nyingine yoyote. Lakini wakati wa summer hapa jua inakuwa kali sana, kwa hivyo labda ule ukali wa jua alafu mvua iko nyingi kuliko kule Ukambani, labda ndiposa katumani yenyewe ikawa refu namna hii. Sasa wakati ambapo mahindi yenyewe imeiva, basi unajua tunataka mahindi choma na jiko hakuna, kwa hivyo lazima tutafute mbinu yoyote ambayo tutapata mahindi choma, na ndio sababu unaona kwamba kidogo karabati hapo unaendelea. Hii Disemba iliyopita hii baridi ilinoga sana ikatuharibia mimea sana kama utakavyoona. This is some of our citrus plants. Hizi zilikuwa na matawi, zilikuwa green kabisa. But kibunga kimepita na zimeanza kukauka vile unaona. Hizi zote zilikuwa budded, you can tell. Lemongrass imeenda yote pia imekauka, na sukuma zimeanza kutoka kidogo, lakini bado zinaonekana zimeathirika sana. So this one is a Pixie mandarin from California too, and as you can see it was affected really badly by the cold. So let me show you one more. Looks like this, all dried up. You can see all those leaves at the bottom. Yeah, they're all gone. This one is about 6 years old. But if you compare it with what we have in Ukambani, in Ukambani this is about 2 or 3 years old. It's at this size, but these have been this small because of the climate here is really different. So let me show you a few more that we have in the backyard too, and you can see for yourself. Kitunguu kimeamka, hicho kikuadhirika sana. Hii michungwa imekuwa 6 years na bado ni midogo namna hiyo sababu ya baridi. Unaona pia imeadhirika, kama imekauka pia. Angalia ni kama vile hiyo baridi ilikuwa ilimaliza kabisa. This is persimmon. Let me show you. Yeah, that's a persimmon. Unaona bei yake $65. Natumai kwamba ulifurahia hiyo video, na kama ulifurahia basi waambie wenzako na subscribe ndio tupatane kwa mtandao.